Hello crafty friends, this is Rachel Crafting Mama Bear. Today's video is going to be a pretty short one. I just wanted to share how I would go about fixing harsh water-based lines on pages. Sunny Soul was in a group message and she had posted a page that she was working on doing a color along with Root & Company in her Rita Berman Hidden Seasons book. And she had asked how she would go about like smoothing out those areas where the colors change on her wall. And since I feel like I'm just the worst at verbalizing things and like explaining things in written word, I figured I would come on and share how I would do that. So this book, Forest Girls Coloring Book by April, is unfortunately one of my test books. The paper is terrible, and I figured I'd show you how I would do it in a book like this, because not every water-based medium works the same on different papers, and that's what Sunny was experiencing. Root & Company was using Zig Clean Color brush markers for their page, and Sunny was using some of her pigment brush markers. So I don't have either of those, so I will be using my super tips to share how I would go about fixing that. So I've selected a page and we'll get started. So I'm going to use this page, and I've got one of my handy cutting mats that I absolutely love from Dollar Tree. So I will put that behind, and I've got my water brush and water and a paper towel to dab off on. So I picked these three colors from my super tips to try on this page. It was the closest color combination that I could find in my super tips for the color along that Root & Company has. This is also how I swatch my super tips. I don't have any sort of like log, like I don't keep all of my swatches in one place. For all of my water-based markers, this is what I do. I have some Avery removable labels. I color, I use the marker, put the pigment down on the sticker, put it on the barrel of my marker, and then tape over it so it's sure to stay in place. So that's how I go about with my swatches for my super tips. So let's get started. So in Root & Company, they're working on a background. I'm just going to use it and see if I can get a similar effect on these little wooden fence posts. So we're going to start with our darkest color, and we want this to be a gradient, and we'll see how well it works. Okay, so this paper performed exactly as I thought it would. It doesn't work well for many mediums. We'll make a couple different samples to see if one technique works better than the other. Okay, so we have these harsh lines in between all of the color changes, and Sunny got some suggestions to just use her colored pencils and blend it out and make it work. I am a lazy colorist and I want the simplest, easiest way to do it. So what I recommended to her was to do this. So I'm going to take my color, I'm going to put it on my slick surface. So that's my darkest. Here's my medium, and here is my lightest color. And I'm going to take my water brush And I'm going to pick up the colors and then put them on. And automatically you're going to get a lighter color because the water is diluting the pigment right now. So if I come in and start putting it in like where those two colors meet, it's going to give me more of a smooth transition between the two colors. Okay, so come in with this one. And it may take a couple layers to get the right color, but I think if you want to try and stick with the same mediums that you started with, then this is the easiest to do it. And I might not have needed my lightest, but yeah, you can go in with your other color. And I'm kind of just dabbing it over those areas because I don't want to have those harsh lines. So let's do this one. I'm going to pick up some more of my medium color. And I'm just going to dab it on there. Get my darkest color. Dab it on all those areas. And once this dries, I should have a pretty seamless gradient blend between the colors. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and we'll see if we have to come in with another coat or if that is good. Okay, so I used my heat tool and I dried it, and this one looks pretty okay. I'm not too mad about that, but this one, we can see that it washed out a lot of that color right there. So I'm going to go in with my darkest color again, and again I'm just going to dot it in that area. Dab it, dab it, whatever. And then I'm going to come in with my middle shade, and I'm going to pull it up a bit too. And again, this paper absolutely sucks. So if I can make it work on this paper, I'm sure you'll be able to make it work on better quality paper. And from what I've found in the very limited work that I've done in my seasons by Rita Berman, it is better paper than this. So yes, that is what I would do. Just come in over top of those areas where you need a smoother transition and just work the color. It's going to save you a lot of time, and you don't have to do tons of colored pencil shading and everything. Okay, I'm going to use my heat tool again and then see what we have. All right, there they are dry, and I'm happy with that. I think that is a good enough transition. So let's put our markers back down on sorry. Okay, so here it is, and I'm pretty happy with the way that that transition is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the colors back on to this piece, and we can see the difference without adding the extra water and stuff to smooth out the areas. Okay, so here is the plank without any water blending and the harsh lines that we had, and then this is them fixed. Let's play a little bit with some of these. And I haven't tested out these colors, but let's just pick some random greens from my super tips and see what we can do. Okay, so I've got a super duper dark green, a medium green, and a very light green. Let's come up to this bush and see, whoops, what we can do. Okay, so those aren't terrible transitions, especially down here in the dark, but it's not amazing. So we'll do our same thing. We'll add some of our dark, medium, and I'll put a little bit of our lightest color. Okay, come in with my water brush, pick up some of my darkest color, and dab it in there. Come in with my medium color and try and blend this out a bit. Okay, let's dry this and see what we've got. All right, here's the tree fully dry, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now, you could always come in with your colored pencils and just like deepen up your shadows and everything. And like where this tree is in front of this one, like I would probably take my pencil and add some really dark shadow there to just give you more of a contrast. But as far as like blending the colors together, I think it's much better now. So there you are. That is how I would fix like lines or streaks from water-based markers on your pages if they don't blend well, just marker to marker on the page. So again, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I will be happy to answer them. And until next time, bye-bye.